Hi guys, how are you doing today? I'm doing great, and I hope you are too. How do you like my new haircut? I hope you like it, as it was an expensive one. Gosh, prices these days are rocketing. But enough complaining. Let's go to our drama llamas, and don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and if you like them, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Some context here. 5 years ago, when I was in my last year of university, my parents divorced, and for many reasons, which included my father being psychologically aggressive, I decided to side with my mother and live with her. He was not happy with that, so he decided to ask for half of the worth of our home, even though my mother bought it completely on her own. To not lose our home, I got 3 part-time jobs in the spare time while I was studying, and we could finally pay him his share, and he left after destroying many things in our home. Yes, he stayed 1 year while the divorce was in process. He just quit talking to me one day, got a new partner, and just left, telling me that his stepsons were the kids he always wanted, instead of a geeky nerd. 'Cause yes, I'm an IT engineer. He didn't stop there, as he also talked to all of his family, my grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles, who also cut me off without even knowing my side of the story. Once I graduated with the best score in my faculty, I got a scholarship for an MBA in Italy, which only covered the basics plus the tuition. So my mother helped me out a lot since I couldn't work with my visa. 3 years ago, I came back to my country, and suddenly I got a great position in an international IT company, at the point in which I bought a car, a new apartment for us, and we have a great life in general. Suddenly he started to send me friend requests through Facebook, which I ignored and blocked his account. Yet he managed to get my phone number after I changed it, and he started calling me, telling me he and his wife are starving, and his stepsons couldn't find a job. Basically telling me I have to give him money, and that he spent all of the share of the house we gave him, which was more than $50K, paying the university of his stepsons and his wife's lifestyle. I just told him I'm sorry, but I won't do that. Now he has started going to the reception of my apartment telling me that I owe him this, and I have to be a better person, that he always loved me, and I was the one who turned my back at him. All of his family, not mine at this point, started calling me as well, telling me I owe him a great share of my income, and I have to give him that or else they will sue me. That's BS. I again just told them to get lost, that it's not their business. The worst part was that they came to my previous house, which my mother still owns, and broke every window, telling me that was just the beginning of it if I don't hand him the money he wants. I just went to the police and got a restriction order. Yet some of my friends told me that I should forgive him and try to help him out as he is still my father. I'm 26 male, yet I cried all the night remembering how he just forgot me, all of his words, and now I honestly don't know what to do, as I could help him out without much effort. By this time, I'm feeling guilty of knowing he's possibly starving, yet he got a new family and now wants me to pay for them too. I really don't know what to do here, but I think I can't forgive him right now. I hope OP doesn't give him a penny. In fact, he should put new windows in his mom's house, install an amazing security system, tell his father that the money he would have given him was spent on the damage he caused, and go no contact. And most importantly, OP should not feel guilty about no contact. He turned the entire family against OP and said he finally had the kids he wanted. He doesn't love OP, as you don't say things like that and treat someone like that if you love them. OP's friends are stupid, and OP should just let them have it, and spill everything out about everything that the man has done, and again ask them if they were in OP's shoes, would they do it? That man and his messed up family burnt their bridges with their lies and actions. And now let's hear the community's opinion. My Precious says, he's lying about starving kids to guilt and manipulate you. The crap weasels of the world rely on you being the bigger or better person, because they get what they want out of you. And the only cost to them is granting you a moment of moral superiority as you bask in your bigger or betterness. To someone willing to steal hours or more of your life, meaning the hours spent earning that money, that's an easy bargain. Plus, they get an ego boost because they're proud they tricked you. Eventually forgive him, for your sake, not his. But it doesn't have to be today. And even if you do forgive him, that doesn't have to mean an ongoing relationship. Be kind to yourself. He never will. Pan90 says, no one can tell you what to do if they aren't who signs your paychecks at this point in life. However, I can tell you that it is okay to cut off toxic family members. I've gone no contact with my mother because she is a selfish, mentally aggressive bee. Your sperm donor's still psychologically aggressive to you, and he will keep doing it. Even if you help him, he'll only be nice to your face, but put you down behind your back to everyone. It's not your job to forgive him if he hasn't earned it. Just providing half the ingredients to make you isn't enough. If he really wants that kind of thing, he should have been a good father in the first place. Dragaril says, "Don't give him a dime. You owe him nothing. He will come for more and more. He is threatening you. He is not a father to you. He is a criminal who tries to gaslight you. He deserves what he got." A little background info. I'm an early 30s cis female, engaged to an early 30s cis male. We've been together for about 4 years. I was married once before to an aggressive partner, and met my fiancé a few years after escaping that situation and taking some years off to date around, go to therapy, and just generally put myself back together. I didn't think I'd even get married again, so I can say with confidence, my partner is awesome. We are both professionals, both own our own homes, and buy our own stuff, and are generally living a happy life in an amazing American city. More importantly, we are still desperately in love and have fun together every day. So what I'm saying is, I'm the happiest I've ever been, and with the exception of the part coming up about my aunt and grandma, find this series of events all horribly amusing. My cousin is a 21-year-old cis female. She has dated and broken up with a series of guys roughly her age, as one should when they're 21. I never think too much about it, and maybe should have, but didn't pay attention when she kept talking about moving in with and marrying each and every one. I had friends like that at 21, and probably also tried to envision this scenario with everyone I dated at 21, because it's a part of getting older and planning your life. However, then my cousin met Dipstick, obviously not his real name, except in our home, where it very much is the only name we call him. I thought I didn't like him because I selfishly had other plans for my cousin. I was going to rent her a spot in our condo for way less than rent in our city, to move to our city, approximately 1.5 hours away, and get a better job in her nursing-adjacent tech field. Right now, she lives with her parents in a rural area and works 2 part-time jobs for a lot less money. There are so many huge hospitals here where she could have a well-paid career, and I had an easy avenue to help her get started in a new city. I have a lot of great female mentors in my life, and I try to be one now to young women I love as well. However, every time she'd get close to making this move, which she originally had approached me about, and always claimed to want to do, but in retrospect, always after a breakup. So maybe she was just invulnerable I want something better than this places each time, which is understandable. She'd start dating some new guy. Whatever, you can do what you want. But I wanted her out of that tiny little town with no prospects and into a career, which again, in retrospect, isn't fair of me because her life is her own and yada yada. This time was no different. Enter Dipstick. Dipstick and she went for it fast. They met and started dating in September. My fiancé, then boyfriend, was hinting around at proposing around that time. And now suddenly cousin and Dipstick were also, according to my aunt. I thought it was just more young, stupid love. Dipstick didn't even work. No way he was buying a ring. Well, Dipstick already had a ring. He had been engaged to another girl the year before, having proposed at Christmas, and that broke up around July or August. Then he met my cousin a month later. Dipstick is also 21 if that helps you visualize. I'm sure you can imagine what happens next. Dipstick proposed at Christmas, after a whirlwind romance of approximately 3 months. At that moment, my fiancé and I became enemy number 1 to Dipstick, as did all of my married siblings and cousins having babies, because no one else's relationship could possibly be the center of attention. Dipstick quits his part-time job to work a worse part-time job, states his intentions to not work at all, and sell stuff on eBay once he's on cousin's health insurance. He has diabetes and is currently on his parents, but they make him work, at least a part-time job in exchange. Dipstick has problems with being lazy. His illness doesn't debilitate him as is often the case with people. He is not on any kind of disability, nor does he need those resources to my knowledge. My fiancé proposed on March 1st, after I had just spent a weekend singing in the orchestra pit of the biggest theater in our city, which was already a thrilling weekend. I literally walked out of the stage door after the last matinee and hopped in the car to go to what I was told was a late anniversary dinner, since we had been so busy all winter and hadn't celebrated our 3-year. He also worked with my best friend to get about 20 of our friends there and made the proposal an immediate engagement party. It was magical. Anyway, Dipstick and cousin immediately canceled plans to come to a big family dinner that month for Easter. Moot point, since quarantine happened like 2 weeks later. My aunt, her mom, wanted a photo of my ring since I didn't post it on social media. I texted her one. I assume she sent it to my cousin because I literally got deleted on every social media platform that night by my cousin. Weird, but whatever. My aunt is then enlisted to ask questions about our wedding planning. I like talking to my aunt about it, but soon realized that it's causing problems. My aunt and uncle took a mortgage out on their paid-off house to pay for Dipstick and cousin's wedding, scheduled for this fall, which is getting crazier and crazier as it goes. I stopped talking to my aunt in specifics about mine and just turned the conversation back to cousin each time it comes up. I'm worried my wedding planning is influencing their wedding planning, trying to have the best wedding. Our wedding is almost a full year after theirs. Cousin has already lost her crap once because I'm using one of her colors as a part of my color scheme. Also, I told her if that mattered, I technically used the color first at my wedding like 7 years ago and laugh at my joke because the concept of someone owning a color is absurd. I get an angry Facebook message from Dipstick telling me I deserve to have been hurt by my ex. Apparently cousin told him, and it wouldn't have happened if I had been a better wife and loved him harder. Dipstick sends similar angry messages to other family members. My brother and I laugh a lot because Dipstick tells him that no one can understand the kind of love Dipstick and cousin have, and that brother clearly hasn't experienced that kind of deep love before. Brother has been married for 9 years and has 2 amazing children. Other cousin and wife have their first child. Dipstick and cousin call the baby ugly and talk about how their kids won't be ugly. Dipstick and cousin start talking about getting pregnant before the wedding. Cousin's brother buys a house, and Dipstick decides he will live there rent-free and be the roommate. Cousin decided to move in too. Her brother is rightfully against that and tells them this house is not their love nest and there are rules. They don't like that. Now both of them are living with my aunt and uncle. Dipstick and cousin adopt a puppy. My aunt takes care of the puppy. Dipstick kicked cousin's 3-year-old niece out of the flower girl role in their upcoming wedding and calls that 3-year-old a B. Cousin tries to get a home loan and buy a house and can't get approved because she's 21, has no credit, and works 2 part-time jobs. She screams and rages at my aunt for days, and my aunt ends up back in the hospital, having suffered a heart attack a couple of months prior. Aunt ends up needing some more work done to her heart. I'm sure completely unrelated to the stress of Dipstick and cousin. Cousin's dad gets furloughed at work for a few weeks due to quarantine. Dipstick and cousin tell him, my aunt, they aren't losing a cent of their wedding budget. Cousin goes to my grandma and asks her to sign paperwork so grandma's house can be signed over to her and offers to pay $30,000 for it in monthly installments. My grandma has no concept of modern money. Grandpa did everything and died a few years ago. We've always stepped in when she needed a new car, home repairs done, etc., so she doesn't get swindled. She thinks $30,000 is low, but probably not that low, as she thinks the housing market still exists circa 1975. Cousin is the youngest and the only one that hasn't bought a house, so she thinks it'll probably be okay, and that money can get split between her 2 daughters and brother, plus me. Our mom died when we were teenagers, so we split her third 2 ways in the estate. Doesn't even matter, because my grandpa had Alzheimer's and was in a nursing home for a couple of years, so the state will get most of it anyway. We just want grandma to have a happy life. Other aunt begs her not to sign anything yet and gets the house appraised. Grandma's house is worth $120,000. Dipstick and cousin are angry because they wanted to buy the house and sell it out from under grandma and keep the profit, and someone found them out. We decide we won't accept a penny under $120,000 from Dipstick and cousin, and grandma is mad at them. She also begins calling, real name, Dipstick. To be continued. I like the way OP's grandma, despite her cognitive failings, managed to latch on to calling him Dipstick. I do have a possible solution. OP should tell them that she changed her mind about the house, give them a lot of paperwork to sign, but slip in a consent form from each of them to get a lobotomy. They'll stop. Well, everything. And everyone can live a relatively normal life. Hell Chick says, you should start talking to your aunt again, but feed her fake information. So when talking about your wedding, tell her things that are the exact opposite, or things that would clash and be ugly. For example, your wedding colors are purple and blue. You're wearing this type of dress. That way, their wedding will be nothing like yours, and they'll get pissed off when they realize. I also would be careful in who you tell about any wedding details, such as other relatives, as they may tell your cousin and Dipstick. Sky Diamond 01 says, "It seems Dipstick and cousin are going through an awful lot of work for a wedding of just them and their parents. With the way they are both behaving, I wouldn't be going to their wedding. Honestly, if it is this bad now, they're both going to be completely unbearable around your wedding, and total monsters by their own, if they make it to their own. I hope your aunt and uncle shine up their spine and put these two idiots in their place." Dreamer Uni says, "Wow, didn't think someone could be this jealous and insecure. They are practically showing off their insecurity.